Cyber poetry, words in time and space, stimulating imagery, evoking emotion, telling stories in a new way to suit the new technology. Cyber poetry, words freed from the page, words in 3 dimensions, fluid concrete poetry welded with sound. Cyber poetry, words as actors in their own movies. Cyber poetry, multi-sensual multimedia. Hi, my name is Conrad. Hi, my name is Conrad. I remember my childhood in the back streets of Richmond and the visions that leave a lasting impression, where I lived in a fish shop with my mother and father, and the chips and the grease and the smell and the batter and the stench from the garbage and the thousands of flies that would gather to feast on the shop's throwaways in the lane out the back where we kids used to play. And from our 10 by 12 playground built over the kitchen we could see all the tin rooftops of Richmond, and Palaco would flash in bright red off and on, the stars, the moon and the flashing neon, and the chimneys and smokestacks that were nearby was the sight you could see as you looked to the sky, and the trees you could see you could count on one hand, and the birds must have flown off to some other land. I remember the fish that would come by the truckload, and the cats in the lane how they'd feast on the fish bones, and the scales of the fish how they'd fly like confetti, and my dad who'd be covered from his head to his toes, and his arms that would glisten just like the fishes he was cleaning and gutting and cutting the heads off. And the pubs that stank of beer and of piss, and the drunks that would stagger and fall out at 6. Up the hill they'd swagger to get some chips, or a cray if they had a win on the races, or some prawns or oysters to take to the missus, or some bread and butter soaked in Worcestershire sauce to sober them up before their main course. And my dad, who left Greece when he was 15 with his hope, his ambitions and a bag full of dreams, but spent the rest of his life as a slave to a stove, till his dreams were all greasy and his hope had all gone, and the times he got mad and punched shit out of drunks. We didn't know why, but were sure glad it wasn't us. And my mum, who'd pace up and down to the kitchen taking orders and trays of roasters and boilers and flake and cooter and brim and snapper to the window to attract the eyes of the buyers, and she carried the burden of my father's bad temper when the shop wasn't doing what it shoulda, or he was worried about the price of potatoes, and her nerves were internal but her anger was showing, and her legs would swell up from all of that walking, and I often saw her in some corner crying in the fish shop in Richmond from where I came.
Black coffee nights all night, black coffee nicotine nights, nights of nicotine and black coffee toss and turn nights, caffeine nicotine bad dream nights, no sleep creased sheets nights, green leaf smoke heaps nights, throat sore nights, smoke more nights, sing blues nights, blues all night through nights, caffeine nicotine bad dream blue and green nights, colored neon night shines bright, neon light lights the night, the sky is bright with neon 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 neon, 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 and on, and on, and on, and on into the night. The black coffee hard drug rock music night. Beer swilled guts filled night. Beer soaked cheap thrill night. Loud noise night. Girls boys night. Streetwise night. Red eyes night. The red yellow and flashing blue night. Flashing blue light. Flashing blue light. The multicolored kaleidoscope night. Cacophonic neon night. Catatonic coffee night. Black coffee night. Black coffee nights. Black coffee night.
The Beatles. 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 The Beatles.
Let sleeping bees rest, don't stir the hornet's nest. The hippies in their havens and the acid heads black ravens. The meditating Buddhas murmur mindlessly their mantras. Soviet generation are the leaders of our nation, all the yuppie technocrats and the bougie bureaucrats, all the hippie vegetation, the complete cash registration from the era of a movement, of a mass psychology, of a youth in search of truth. Of a world that blew a fuse, of a planet with the blues getting frightened by the news, with nothing left to lose and nothing new to choose. The Beatles is dead, man, the Beatles is dead. Did you hear what I said? I said the Beatles is dead. But back at the start, Beatles CD stopped the charts. The Beatles is a brand, not the name of a band. Learning Song of Revolution, now a shoe sale promotion. The last drop's not bled, but the Beatles is dead. Yes, the Beatles is dead. Dead, 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 dead. It's time to forget, not time to resurrect. It's time to progress, not time to regress. We have to invent, not live in retrospect. We can't go ahead till we get it through our head that the Beatles is dead. Yes, the Beatles is dead, 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 dead. These days you've got to repeat what you've already said. I said the Beatles is dead. Let them rest in peace, such a sweet release from the bondage absolute and a time warp destitute. Political substitute, just stand still for 20 years, crying alligator tears. The Beatles is dead, man, the Beatles is dead. Yesterday, life was such an easy game to play. She loves you, yeah. All you need is love. Let it be, let it be, let it be.
Strike, you, either actor, advertise, struck, you, highly L, I struck, that are like it at para, that got the RS, I lit, that struck, that G period, struck, that EXTs, that JIC, like struck, at that para, that RE, East, I L at par, I like it air, ties, highly like it at parties, I L at parter days, I like it at parties, I like IDs, I lick teas, I like it, you, either do's, I like it at pa, guys, I like it at parties, drug I like it at parties, I like it at parties.
High Street Q East, where I live, it's a busy street. cars, buses, trams, motorbikes, police cars, ambulances, fire engines, street sweepers, cars, 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 bikes, ta-ta-ram, across the road there is a park. It's lovely to look at over the sound of the cars, buses, bikes, police cars, fire engines, trams, bikes, cars, cars. The other night, all of a sudden at 8:58 p.m., suddenly, there was silence except for the sound of the park, a squeaky seat, a rocking swing, nighttime music, a certain peace, a hypnotizing regularity, sawing, car coming, bus, tram, bike, car, ambulance, police car, silence smashed. Ambulance, police car, ambulance, police car, ambulance, ambulance, ambulance.
Don't call me Kev the fucking red, okay? My name is Communas. It's not a very common name. It's not a very common Aussie name. It's not a very common Aussie name. Common Aussie. Come on. Come on, Aussie. Come on. Come on, Aussie. Come on, Oz. Come on us. Come on us. Come on us. Come on us, communist. I'm not a communist, I'm an anarchist, communist, the anarchist, so don't call me Kev the fucking red, alright?